In fact, what's convinced me very recently is that I realised he had 12 disciples, or 11, Judas killed himself.
Yeah.
And then it's become over 2,000 years the most dominant religion in the world. It seems like a big coincidence to me if he wasn't the son of God.
So if we wait another 30 years, now Islam becomes the dominant religion in the world because, according to demographic statistics and predictions, Islam is soon going to become the most populous. So then do we say that Islam is true? Because if God gives us life and we're here 40 years' time having the same conversation, and now Islam is the most numerically...
My point, yeah. Plus, it's not so much how dominant it is in the modern age, because there's different cultures of fertility rates, things like that. Sure. It's more about the fact that they were a persecuted, tiny clan that somehow survived in a very tumultuous time.
It's very impressive. I don't think that's a miracle.
It sounds like you're making the same argument for the Quran.
That's fine. So let me explain how it's different. God mentions a challenge in the Quran. He says, if you doubt that this is from God, then bring a Quran like this, the same level of literary sophistication, with the same level of knowledge of previous scriptures, with the same level of knowledge of past events, with predictions for the future, with the same level of theological consistency, and so on. Many aspects to and there's been like books and books and tombs like written about this. And what's interesting is that the literary Arabs at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, they couldn't match him. Every prophet, the miracle that they were sent with typically reflected the skill of that particular society. At the time of Jesus, peace be upon him, they were known for their medicinal skills. At the time of Moses, for their skills in sorcery. And so Moses was given skills to outfox the sorcerers. Jesus was given the ability to raise people from the dead and to heal the sick, which outfoxed the people of medicine at the time. At the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, it was a very literary society based upon competitions and excelling in poetry and the like. And so when the Quran came, which was not like the poetry of their poets, but it wasn't like a standard text at the same time, it's something in between. It wasn't prose, it wasn't poetry. Then people were like staggered by it, and many of them became Muslim. And if they didn't become Muslim, then they ended up fighting the Prophet, peace be upon him, when all they had to do was bring a revelation which was similar to it, or which could outdo it.
By which standard? Because
for sure,
you need a group of unbiased people to make that assessment.
Of course, I agree. I agree.
Most people making these assessments have vested interest. They are probably Muslim.
Well, I think, if you look at some of the historical reports about what people said at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, even his enemies were acknowledging the miraculous nature of the Quran. This is reported in many verses in the Quran. People are astonished by it. They're calling him a magician, a soothsayer. They're calling him a poet because they're coming up with all these accusations against him because they can't understand what's going on.